everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Z Garcia.
And I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at a flip and right style game called Pioneer Rails, in which you are going to be exploring an area of the Old West. You're going to be flipping over some cards, regular deck of cards, looking cards, and then drawing lines to different locations, connecting railroads to cities, gathering gold, pips, all sorts of westerny things.
Yeah, it's got all the trappings.
All the fixins.
Gotta get them cattle.
Moo-moos are in here. Everything's in here. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at how it all works together. We'll come on back, tell you what we think of it. Here we're going to be taking a look at one player's area. So everybody has one of these, but I'm only showing you one of them. We are going to select some goals randomly at the beginning of the game, one in each of these three categories. That symbol there with the sheriff, that one, and that one. There are quite a few different ones here, and we're only selecting one of each. We're going to shuffle up this deck of cards. Someone will be the start player, and the game also comes with pencils here and an eraser, but I'm going to be using something a little more visible today for our example. And then you are ready to begin. So the game's going to be played over 4 rounds, each of 5 cards. And at the end of that, whoever has the most victory points is the winner. So let's say I'm the start player. I'm going to reveal 3 cards from the shuffled deck. And this happens right here at the beginning of every turn. It is my turn. I'm the start player, so I'm going to select one of these 3, and I am going to remove that card from the lineup and take it for myself. Now, everyone, including me, is going to use their card to mark a couple of things. If it's my turn, it's the card I removed. If it's not my turn, meaning the other players at the table, they have to select one of the leftover cards over here. And they will not take it from the center, they're simply selecting it. Meaning multiple players could take the same card and not manipulate it from the table. So, I'm going to be using this card for 2 different things. The first one is using it in my poker hand. And for this, I only need the rank of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and put here a king in the first spot. The suit will not matter for this. In this game, at the end of a round, or at the end of one of the quarters of the game, I'm going to have a poker hand, 5 cards here, and I'm going to get victory points for that, but none of these things will be a flush, i.e. the suit will not matter for this. So I write down the rank of the card, and then the suit is going to let me do something different. It's going to let me start a line or continue a line from one of these starting locations. This is spades, so I'm going to be able to start from here. I will draw 3 lines leaving from this location. And this is going to be along the edges of these hexes. So for example, maybe my first one will be 1 to there, 2, and then 3 to there. And I'm going to explain some of these locations and what they do and what I'm going for, all right? So right now, this first line I put right here is around this location, which is a gold mine. And the 1 here, just like there's a 3 there and there's a 2 there, that denotes how many lines have to be around this hex for me to qualify for this bonus. In this case, all the gold mines just need 1 little line next to them. So by drawing this one right here, I've already accomplished this. So I can cross that off, and I can circle that I have 1 gold nugget. That gold nugget is going to be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game. I can also use it to deposit it in the bank, and we'll get to that later. Now this one over here, this rail yard, it takes 3 lines around it. So perhaps next time I add some trail to the this spade area, maybe I could go there for 1 and there for 1, and that would be 3. 1, 2, 3 around it. Boom, I qualify for that bonus, and I would then mark something off right here and activate that building. So that's a big part of what a lot of these locations are doing. You have to put enough lines around it to qualify for that. Now we're going to go ahead and go down the list here in just a second, but basically I have finished my turn. I'm assuming my opponents have finished. These 3 cards are going to be discarded. This will pass to the next player, and they will reveal 3 cards. They will take a look. They will select one of these that they want for themselves, and then I pick one of these other 2. Let's take a look. I can do ace diamonds. I can do the 10 of spades. I'm going to do 10 of spades. And I would go over here. I would put a 10. And it is spades. That means I can continue this line or I can start another one, leaving from this location. And I should point out right now, these lines can never run into each other. I cannot draw a line here and here, nor can they branch. I cannot have another line start from here out this way. It's a single line that will not run into anything else, and ideally you want it to culminate at one of these cities, all right? So I have another 3 actions or 3 road pieces. It's always 3. I'm going to do what I said earlier. I'm going to go 1, I'm going to go 2, and I'm going to go 3 right here. And now I qualify for this one, so I'll circle my next option there. There we go. That's a turn, and this is going to happen 5 times. Then we're going to check our poker hand, get some points, and move on to the next round. Now let's go ahead and go down the list here and see what these things all mean. The gold nuggets, like I said, you get them by putting a single line next to them. They're going to be worth 1 point each, but you can also deposit them in the bank, and they'll still be worth a victory point, all right? Even if you do indeed deposit them. The bank, I have to put 3 lines around one of these banks, and then I can deposit some gold nuggets. So let's say I've gathered up, I don't know, let's say I've gathered up 3 of these, okay? I can go to the bank. When I activate that, I cross out a number of these I want to, up to 4, maximum of 4, and I'm going to get some victory points. So let's say I do 2 of these. 2 times 2 here would be 4 victory points. Next time I deposit at a different bank by putting 3 lines around that one, it will be at 3 points per nugget, and then I could do it a third time at 4 points per nugget. Now be aware, these nuggets over here that I've crossed out are still worth a victory point to me. So I would get 3 points for this, and obviously I have a 4 right here, so I would get 4 points so far for that. I've got these right here. That's going to be a fort, and the fort, I have to put 4 lines around that. When I do that, I circle the first space in the fort line here. At the end of the game, I'm going to get the one I circled farthest to the right. So if I can get 3 of these, I'm going to get 24 points for that. The cattle, they're a little bit tricky. You need to separate a cattle from any other cattles on the board, and then you will circle in the next one, all right? You're going to get victory points for that. The way this works is, let's say I have a line that starts from the hearts over here, and I could go 1, 2, 3. I could then maybe go, next time I go here, boom, boom, boom. And this one is now separated from any others by my lines, the edge of the board, the river will do that, and these mountains will do that. So this here is a mountain, this here is a mountain. All of these will also separate the cows. So this one now being on its own, I will cross that out and I will circle that space, and again, I'll get victory points for that. The railroad track is going to multiply my city scoring. So let me skip it for a second and explain city scoring. You begin with 1 of these, and you are going to, you begin with 1 for the sake of a bonus, really. But now that I've connected to this city right here with that line is done. I cannot extend it anymore. And I will go ahead and circle 1 of these. The reason to circle these is because I get a bonus, which I'm not going to go over. You get sort of basically ways to bend and break these basic rules by crossing off 1 of these and doing one of those exceptions. But also, as I connect more of these cities, and so I perhaps will go from here, maybe I could go this way and connect to that one. I could even come from a different location and connect to the same one, like so. And now I could, at the end of the game, I am going to score my biggest network. And that is through these starting locations to all of the cities that connect to it. In this case, I will take a look at this one, which goes to there, and leaving from here, I can go to there, and through it, I can actually continue to this one, and this one happens to not go to any others, but if it did, like this, then I would count that one as well, meaning 1, 2, and 3. So I have 3 cities connected to my biggest grouping. I'm going to multiply that times 3, or if I unlock another one of these, times 4 or times 5, and that will be my score. Let's say this is as far as I got, 3 times 3, I would get 9 points for that. So there you go. Besides that, down here, I've got these 3 goals, And whoever does this first is going to get victory points there more than if you do it after that. So say deposit 5 gold nuggets at the bank. If I'm the first one to do that, I'll get 10 victory points. I will circle this. Everybody else should cross that off. They can then earn the 5 victory points later on. You add all these things up. You add up your poker hand values. If I had ended up with something like this, say I got a 3 of a kind. I got 3 10s here. I'm going to check what that means. That means 3 victory points. Great, I get 3 victory points. If I circle or surround one of these saloons, which only take 2 lines around them, I can cross that off, and I could circle one of these, and that's going to double my poker scoring for that hand. I cannot do it backwards. I can't do it to a poker hand that's already been scored and left behind. I can only do it to one I'm working on or an upcoming one. And I'm going to double the score I would get for it, which is down here. All right, so there we go. You score all that up. You get your total down here, and whoever has the most victory points is going to be the winner of the game. So it's funny that this game, which is one I've actually been looking forward to for a long time, and as have you, I believe, happened to come out around the same time as another game with the similar game style.
And setting.
It was a real, like, Armageddon Deep Impact thing that happened. So we're talking Pioneer Rails. There's another game called Flip Town that we also just reviewed. Check that out if you want to. And they happen to... Yeah, they just kind of hit at the same time, and they're very similar games.
Right. When I first heard the hook of flip and right game, but you're using standard playing cards, making poker hands as one aspect of it, and then using the suits to draw out the rails, I thought that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And then another one came through, and we're like, uncanny, you know what I mean? But we will review this on its own merits, of course, but also maybe quickly compare them later.
Yeah, or at the very least, go check that video out. If something brought you here to watch this one, make sure you watch the video for Flip Town, okay? So, this one is a very simple game, actually. It looks like a lot is happening on these boards. These little play mats here, or these, the hexagon overlay boards. They look like a lot is happening on them. I think the artwork is part of that. It looks very busy. It looks like there's a lot going on. But the gameplay is actually really straightforward. It's incredibly clean, incredibly straightforward. With one caveat maybe, and that is connecting to cities is a little bit tricky. I think it'll click with some people. You'll be like, okay, yeah, sure, I get it. Network creation. I understand how that works. And with some people, it'll be like, wait, where can I connect? And how does it cross from one sort of spider network to another one over here? And if they touch there, boom, they're connected.
Right. You can't touch rails but for at a city. And then that question of, like, what defines a network?
Yeah.
The only other small little thing that I get hung up on, and I think other people have as well, is that when you cross off a town bonus to use its special ability, you also get an extra 4th rail that turn. And you get to activate one of 5 or 6 powers plus an extra rail. That sounds like 2 different things.
Yes.
That's a minor thing, but it is a small hang-up. But otherwise than that, everything seems to make sense. Get money, go to the bank. Separate cattle. The rest of the stuff tends to make pretty clear sense.
I agree. I had a little bit of a hard time visualizing how to separate the cattle at first.
Yeah.
Like, what splits them from the other cattle? It's like, well, mountains, the edge of the board, your own lines. Like, okay, the mountains are a little hard to see because you just sort of, like, consider them more hexes. So that one's a little tricky, but it sort of seeps into you as you play a third of the way through this game, and the game's not very long. You'll be there. You'll get it. You'll understand what's going on. I do like the bonuses for the cities, but I think there might be like one too many. It's like everything is incredibly easy. One single line around a gold mine, go 1 little gold nugget. Great. The whatever, a little bit of this. Oh, whatever, a little bit of that. Great. They're all very easy. And then you get to a city. You can cross out one of your city and take a bonus. What are the bonuses? Draw between 2 rivers. Draw between 2 towns. Switch a suit. Split a hex down the middle and get to the other side. I'm like, wait, what? There's a lot of different possibilities. they might have been able to lose one of these.
Right. Plus you get a fourth rail.
Yeah, it's
you know
like,
what I mean?
geez, hold on. Yeah. Having said all that, I like the flow of this game a lot. I like the feel of it. It has that good old flip over 3 cards, and if it's not your turn, you're doing the don't take the card I need thing. You know what I mean? I love that. Nice little tension in a flip and right style game. I love this is a minor mechanism, as in it's simple, not that it's minor, but I love that to unlock a building, sometimes it's harder just because you have to put more lines around it. And it's a very mechanical thing, right? But I don't know what it is. I really like that. Like the gold pip, you just draw one line next to any one of those gold mines. You're good. You got it. But if you want to do the, whatever they're called, the crossed Winchesters there. It's 4 lines around that one hex.
Oh, that outpost is like hard.
Yeah,
you're like it's going to take maybe 3 turns, one of them to get there and just touch it, and then I got to go 3 lines around on my next one. Is it worth it? And then you realize, well, it jumps from 4 to 12 points.
Right.
Once I get that second one, it was worth it.
Right.
But you're giving up doing so many other things. And so that's a good tension to have in such a simple game. Draw 3 lines. Ooh, I have a couple of juicy options right here. Plus, if I take a different card, I've got 3 other juicy options there. But none of them are overwhelming.
I agree. The game is fairly straightforward, again, except for a couple of little hiccups, which we're mentioning. But overall, this is a quick flowing one. It uses things you're probably familiar with and spins them into this westerny vibe in a clever and engaging way. I like everything it's doing. I love the one card having the suit for drawing lines, the rank for hand of poker cards. So there's no flush or any of that stuff. It's just the rank of the card. I really like that. That's a clever idea. You have to pick one and do 2 things with it. That's one thing that Flip Down, the other game we were talking about, actually doesn't do. You pick 2 cards in that one. And one's for one thing and one's for another, right, basically? In this one, the same card, you have to sort of tear the card down the middle and go, okay, this is for this is for that. And that's a clever way to do that.
And it is tense, right? Because the poker hands in this game are more simplified, which is good because there is that aspect of removal. You're the first player. You take one of the cards out for the rest of the players, and everyone else goes,
yes,
I really needed that jack. How do I pivot? I was this close to getting 4 of a kind, and you were like, nope. Okay, maybe I can get a full house still.
Right.
And so I like that. There's enough tension. There's enough. I won't call that interaction necessarily, right? But there's a nice coming together at the table where everyone kind of is like looking at Z, and Z's like,
Yeah.
But then you're just kind of doing your own thing.
The goals also behave that way. They have that sort of race to something feeling, You flip over your 3 goals, like, okay, great, deposit 6 gold nuggets. Got it. I'll focus on that. It gives you some direction. And I think a game like this can use a little direction,
I agree. It's nothing revolutionary in any individual facet, but it still feels fresh.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. I'll tell you one thing that I think is maybe actually the most unique thing I've seen is that special power, the town power, to split a hex down the middle, to just whoop.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that in any other kind of route building game, to just say, cheat.
Yeah. It's a weird one. If you're just trying to get somewhere, it'll save you what? You save 1, 2, 3 for 1, basically. Yeah, you just kind of go around one hex, saving yourself the 1, 2, 3 by going boom, 1. Forget this.
I'm out of here.
It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, it's a neat idea. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, as you said. It's nothing necessarily innovative about this package. There's no new flavor here, but I really like the different elements, the condiments it's bringing to the table, the way it's mixed them up in such a quick playing game, too.
That as well, yeah. And a good solo mode. This is one that I've had fun just playing solo. You draw fewer cards. There's a good variant in the back, too, that says you deal 1 card out to everyone at the start of the hand.
Yes.
And you know what your last card's going to be. Then when you do reveal the cards, you have a better idea of what your last actions and poker hand can be, or poker card can be.
I like that enhances the poker part, especially.
Yes.
Because you can just sort of work over something and get hosed, So I do like that. For me, I'm coming down at an 8 for this one. I enjoy it. It's a fun game. It's vibrant. It's pretty easy to play. If you're someone who is still enjoying this sort of flip and right genre and you want a little more, I don't know if I'll call it theme, but a cool setting. You want something injected into it that isn't just red 12, blue 16, that sort of thing. And this is one I can wholeheartedly recommend. I've been having a really good time with it. I can see myself playing this one for a long time. So it gets an 8 out of 10 from me.
I'm right there with you. I'm giving this an 8 as well because that little bit of flavor injected into it with the mix of poker and the Wild West, it just elevates it more than connecting things.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. And it's a small little aside as well that the publisher Dranda, I don't know if they'll continue to, but they sell the cards as a little poker deck. Mm-hmm. I know this is very much an aside, but I love that deck of cards.
Yeah.
It's gorgeously illustrated.
Yeah.
And so even though in the main game you're only using the 10 through ace, it still has.
I'm glad they made a whole deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also an extra pad in here. There's which I didn't mention in the overview because, I was just showing you how to play, but there's two pads in here. This is in this printing of it anyway, you get some extra stuff. So yeah, they went above and beyond to make a really nice package here, and I for one I'm thankful for it because I'm having a good time with it. So there you go, folks. 8 out of 10 across the board here. That is a seal of approval for Pioneer Rails. So thank you very much for checking this one out. My name is Z Garcia.
And I'm Chris Yee.
Go tame the Wild West.